Hello everyone. Today, as part of this short talk, I'm going to take you through to how far advanced are we with ORAN intelligence controller as part of BT and where we are heading. Before I go and start with our activities, I would like to have a short quick introduction to RAN intelligence controller and why do we need RIC in our system as an operator and some of the RIC use cases and trials which we have done, and then we focus on BT and UK where we are going. So as we see in traditional approach, our radio access network was pretty much locked with our vendors and we don't have so much open hand on how to optimize and how to control and manage our radio access network. So our data capturing is almost within 15 minutes interval and more on network equipment centric and very high level. So we don't have that granular access to our data as aggregated before we can process and work on it. So therefore, it's very important as part of developing 5G and more deployment of 5G use cases. We would like to have this to provide better customer service and better quality of experience for our users and optimize our network in a better way. And it's very difficult to achieve this by relying on the vendors and as part of self-organizing network that we used traditionally. So we would like to shift more towards open RAN radio access network and disaggregated entity in our radio access network to have better view and better management on our resources and can achieve the optimized network that we promise to our customers, and as a result to have better services for our users. So within the Open RAN, as pretty much everyone is aware, we have the service and service management and orchestration, and as part of that we have XApp and RApps. So we can, with these open infrastructure and all the entities inside, we can achieve almost to 10 millisecond granularity of data capturing and optimizing our resources and network more on low level, and it's more user centric or use case centric based on what we need in our network. So what we have in our service management and orchestration framework as part of RIC, we have RApps and XApps. RApps are non-real-time RIC, which are developed more for capacity management, and we have some set policies there, which we achieve them by ML/AI algorithm as part of data capturing we do, and it's very hard part. It's a very hearty part of the SMO to provide all these features for our network and help us to optimize our services. Near real-time RIC, it can be developed at the edge, it can be around CU, DU, or RU, or anywhere in the network as long as our delay allows, as delay constraint allows us to put this. So pretty much flexible with where we put our XApp. So XApp and RApps are relying on ML/AI algorithm. So based on the data capturing, we can develop and based on the use cases and what we would like to optimize, ideally, we can develop these RApps and XApps. So within RApps, we have some set policies that they can help us with parameters, guidance along the A-band, and they communicate with our near real-time RIC to provide this policy and guidance based on the data capturing that we do and what use case we would like to use. We can plug and play those policies, and also near real-time RIC provides some feedbacks around these policies to non-real-time RIC. So this is a very quick short intro to RIC. As you see, we have a lot of interfaces as comparing to the old traditional system, so it makes it more complicated in order to develop all these interfaces based on the standards and provide compatibility. So why do we need this rig? The rig is, if we can compare rig to our human body, rig is more like a brain, and it uses a machine learning algorithm, AI, to bring intelligence and automation to run. Rig provides us with a lot of things: dynamic decision making, enabling us to have many use cases developed, to have fine-grained, very fine and granular capturing of our data, and to monitor our use cases and provide better service and quality of experience. It also, on the economic side of the things, it helps us with reducing costs by developing some use cases such as energy efficiency or capacity management, scaling up and down of the network. We can decrease our cost both on infrastructure and our total cost of ownership. It helps us to improve our quality of experience because we have more access to the data in a fine, granular way in a very short burst of time, so we can develop some use cases around this and provide better services to our users. Also, it helps us with multi-vendor interoperability. We don't need to be locked in, hopefully, with any vendors, and we are shifting from this monopoly, and we have our say in optimizing and managing our access network. It helps us with automation. So with all these developers learning algorithm as part of AI, it provides us fully automated system. So we don't need to constantly monitor this, and as a result, it also saves us cost. Also, by developing very customized use cases, we could also achieve some monetization around with our radio access network based on the use cases such as private network, neutral host. We can monetize our RAN as well. So as we see more and more, we develop these systems as we go, we move forward. We see more diversification and openness in our ecosystem, which is our goal in developing O-RAN. We would like to ideally move from this lock-in with the vendors and go more towards diversification and be able to create this ecosystem that everyone could participate and provide us with their services. So as part of development of our rig system, as we started, we saw many use cases we're developing on the trial and test bed, more locked in proprietary. As we move forward, we see that these more collaboration are coming up, and SMO, rig vendors, telecom operators, and all the RAPs except developers are collaborating to take this development further and provide us with better results to be deployed on our live network. So what we see from this platform, we need more diversification, more openness, and we strictly believe that this can be achieved through collaboration of all of us to develop this ecosystem and provide what we promise to optimize our network, and also better monitor our cost, and also automate our network to provide better customer services to our customers. So as part of Mobile World Congress, we see a lot of apps we're going more from the testbed trial to more live network trial on the operator side, as we see all of our operators, system integrators, app developers, and the radio vendors were working closely to develop these platforms. And the list of is provided as part of light reading blog post, which I stick the link here if you would like to refer to that and read more reviews on any of these use cases. However, we started and far from beginning we have a long way to go. There are a lot of challenges to address, as I listed some of them here. The most challenge we have is openness. Still, the systems are proprietary and closed, although they say, okay, we are open. No, they are not. In most of the use cases, we see that they are proprietary, and we cannot use this system in an open system that we would like to do. It's more cultural change because our vendors, our providers, culturally they work around this closed system, and it's very difficult for them, this openness, and how to monetize it, how to maintain this ecosystem is a bit challenging, and we fully understand that, but this will limit our REAK development very much. So we need to work in an open kind of open ecosystem. The other thing is portability. We ideally would like to achieve portability of each entity in our ecosystem, such as REAK, XApp, DU, CU. We need to remove this and replace it with something else and still get the same result, as we don't see it as of yet there. There are so many things are coming up, so many trials are lined up, but still it's not mature, and we need to work closely with all of the vendors and REAK SMO platforms and RF XApp developers to achieve this. Algorithm training, as we see, REAK performance is heavily reliant on the data, machine learning and AI algorithm. The data capturing is happening on the network operator side, so it's very challenging to share data with vendors and app developers to better develop these algorithms around more scalable data that we have is on site. It's getting there, but still is challenging. We have our test bed. We invite the vendors, app developers to come and test their algorithm within our test bed, which hopefully it will help to provide them with more data from our side to develop and train this algorithm and shift towards more scalable algorithm, because some of these algorithms are tested with a set of data in a specific scenario, and when we go to another scenario, they don't provide the result as it should be. So this is one of the challenging part, and also it's very regional. It's very dependent on the region. The apps that they develop in another country might not be fit very well into our data set and provide us the results that we would like. E2S standards is very much underdeveloped, and we don't have such a standard to communicate with the low layer data to the upper layer, REAK and SMO. So in terms of E2S standard and our service models, we need to a bit work on the standards and move forward. The other challenging part is REAK App Store can be plug and play any XApp or apps from any marketplace, and are they secure enough? Who is approving this and who is liable for this app? We need to work around these kind of things, and it's a challenging part of that. So who is developing these apps? Are the REAK SMO providers we are approving these apps and provide it to us, or is on operator side to just pick and play and see what's happening. So there are a few objectives and outcomes that we are ideally look for to get to the maturity point. One of them is software development kit. We need easy and secure REAK app developer platform. We need open SDK and no lock-in. We still see a little bit of more reserved, our vendors, regarding this SDK. So we are not there yet. And also regarding onboarding of the apps, who is the app quality needs to be checked to be secure, and the conflict management needs to be done by SMO REAK. As we are not developing a lot of apps at the same times, we are not there yet to see how these apps working in this ecosystem, and we have many of them deployed, and how we can manage the conflict between these apps. Interoperable X apps, we need to work around it. It's getting there, so we are trying to run some experiment with with our ecosystem that we have to have more interoperable X apps. And it's not only about X apps, all REAK as REAK platform itself as SMO. We need to have something that we can replace it easily with something else. Marketplace, as I said, another challenging part. We need to work on it, and who is approving this app, and are the apps pre-approved for the operator to be used, who is liable for that, and are the apps is developed in another country, are they still valid for us from legal side? So these needs to be worked as well. Data sharing is a bit challenging, but we need to get there, and we need to provide some more data to our vendors, our RF developers. So to provide more scalable MLAI, we can't just work based on simulating traffic or emulation of the traffic, which most of the vendors or system integrator or test platforms are using. And also live network deployment, we see as part of mobile VC, we move and we shift towards there. We are more now, feel more comfortable to do a little bit of testing on our live network to get to the level of maturity. Now I'm going to have a short and quick overview over BT activities and the UK focus. So BT has been a part of Telecom Infra project since starting, and also along all of the other operators and vendors. We lead on REAK, which is intelligence and automation, and we develop almost 10 use cases as part of this platform, which we are ready to test with vendors and REAK SMO. AIM project was more focused on 5G automation, but also we developed several use cases and algorithms. They are more on the algorithm than XApp RFs, but they can easily be deployed and integrated as an XApp and be used. ARI 5G is one of the projects that it is funded by the government. So the focus of this project is openness, multi-vendor, interoperable system, and they are focusing on energy efficiency and spectral efficiency use cases. We had a live trial with Nokia and in a location which is called Hull to enhance mobile broadband experience, and there were a few use cases that has been tested as a part of a live network. Which you can also follow the link and provide the use cases which we have tested. It was advanced traffic steering and capacity management as part of this test trial. We are working with Juniper, who won the Global Mobile Award as part of Mobile VCE for their RIC. So we are trying to develop some use cases with Juniper as well, and integrate to other test systems and integrate it to our live network. This is the list of the use cases. Also, we have another project in GCDI that we work around MLAI algorithm to develop the apps, and almost we have let's say 10-12 apps that we have developed, and we are not apps, algorithms that we developed, and we are ready to pack it in an XApp or apps and try it as a part of the RIC SMO and test it with the test vendors and integrate it to the live network. Focus on the UK. BT is very active in the Open RAN research and R&D. So as part of Future RAN Competition Frank project, there are 14 projects that we are not working on all of them, but we are participating in a few of them, and it's more focused on diversifying of the 5G supply chains. So as you see, the government is pushing this Open RAN, and it's very supportive for the research and R&D, and constantly there are competition going on. There was another competition, Future Open Network Research Challenge for NRC, which there are 3 projects, and BT is part of all 3 projects, Reason, Tudor, and URAN. Reason focus is more on 6G, so it's beyond 5G, and not only we see RIC and we use a lot of RIC, but also multi-RIC for multi-access. So they adopted the model for multi-access management. They adopted the RIC model, RIC SMO model for the multi-access management for the 6G to provide seamless connection to the user as part of this open network. Theodore also, it has a lot of around intent-based automation and orchestration. So we see a lot of RIC in Theodore as well. And URAN is specifically around Open RAN, RIC, and SMO. We have close relation with Sonic Lab, a smart RAN Open Network Interoperability Center that they are going to open their lab tomorrow, I guess, officially. So it's a brilliant facilities. It's around testing and interoperability that every vendors, every developers, they can just go there and test what they have developed and what they have, and they can provide you some feedback and results. And also UK Telecom Labs is part of the focus of the government. So pretty much UK government is very supportive in that respect. There is another new competition that's coming under Open Network Ecosystem competition. As we see, it's very much focused on the open network system, and there are 3 categories, which one of them is RIC and RAN software automation. So it's very interesting cause. So they just launched the project mid-March. So the competition is open till May. So very encouraging for the RIC vendors, or the SMO RIC vendors, XApp, RF developments, or other operators to join and try to help maturity of the platform. So how far advanced with RIC? Although we've done a lot of trial and testing, the platform is not mature yet for the live deployment. What we take really seriously on BT is quality of experience for our user and security. We cannot compromise this. So as you might see, we are a little bit, we are saying that we are doing a lot of research around RIC and developing XApp, RApps, and we are participating in all the research projects and all the activities around, but we cannot deploy this system into our live network until it gets mature, and we are very and we take this serious. So we need to work around this maturity. So by multi-vendor solutions, interoperability tests, PlugFest events, and working with system integrator, try to find a solution for our RIC marketplace, and try to more going to live trial, and particularly in integration with brownfield. As we are not a greenfield operator, we need to still integrate with our legacy system. And more open SDK and innovation and hackathons are the way forward to more focus on this openness, develop the XApps, RApps, and eventually move towards the open radio access network that it's promising us some cost saving and also better quality of experience for our users, and also service differentiation. So thank you for listening, and I am open for any question if there is any.
Thank you. That's a lot of stuff and a lot of activity to deal with a very specific part of Open RAN. It's quite a big part of Open RAN, maybe bigger than we bargained for.
Yes, because it's heart of Open RAN. So
yeah, so very complex actually. Yeah. So we do have a question for you, please. Jayshree asks, can you please explain a bit the challenge on E2 standards for RIC?
So the challenge is that we are not yet to have a common standard to communicate the low-level data with the RIC. E2 stands between the RIC SMO and the low-level radio units. So we need to read the data from low level to this high level. Why we are not achieving this? There are a lot of challenges, and it's more coming from culture that the vendors are still pushing towards this locked E2. So we need to work around it, and we need to move it forward. As you see on the SMO, we have pretty much a standard O2 or 1, but in E2, still the culture is not there. So you know that the part of the standard is debating and negotiating of how we can communicate. We are not yet there. So we need to push it towards more common interface rather than be like proprietary. At the moment, it seems that it is proprietary. So the service models, we cannot have plug and play service models. Still, we need to work and develop our service models if we want. There is not such a standard exists, because whoever is working try to not focus on these open things, and it's around more monetization perhaps. It's a very new thing, it's a cultural thing, it's a habit that we need to change, but we are getting there, we are working around it. There are a lot of debates and still delaying, but we are getting there eventually.
My impression is there's a great deal of determination though across the industry.
Yes.
I feel that, you know, there is an absolute conviction that this will be resolved.
Yeah, as a way forward, there is no way backward and to go and to lock in this interface. We can't do that. So,
well, what can I say? Thank you very much indeed.